These are the plaintiffs, Michael and Amanda. Amanda says she and her husband painted the defendant's house to prep it for sale, and the woman fired them on the last day of the job and refuses to pay them. This is outrageous, and in their 17 years in the real estate business, they've never seen something so unfair. They're suing for $2,760, the amount they're owed. This is the defendant, Yvonne Bernhard. She says the plaintiffs didn't know what they were doing. Their ineptness delayed the sale of her home, and if anyone's owed money today, it certainly isn't the plaintiffs. She's accused of pooping out on painters.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say they got the defendant's house in shipshed condition so she could sell it, and now she's stiffing them. But the defendants say the plaintiffs were inept, and it cost her money because the sale was delayed. It's the case of sale on.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Michael and Ms. Amanda, you are suing Ms. Bernhard for $2,760 that you say is owed to you for work that you did on a house she was putting up for sale. Why don't you tell me, Ms. Amanda, how this came about?
The market's pretty good just about everywhere in Ohio. So
and everywhere else in America right now. It's a seller's market for sure.
Yeah, I do come across clients sometimes that, you know, they don't have $11,000 to have their house professionally painted. And he and I go back and forth sometimes because he helps me on some of our deals.
And so did she inquire of you, or did you inquire of her because you heard she wanted to sell a place? She doesn't live in the place she was going to sell, right?
Right. Okay, I don't remember. I just remember a lot of chat online. Just people probably asking in that city who knows something for sale. And if I see people saying, hey, you know, my mother's going to be selling soon.
Right.
Sometimes I'll private message.
Sure. Okay. So what is your profession?
Real estate team lead.
Okay. What does a real estate team lead mean?
So I have agents that work under me.
All right. So at some point you connect with Ms. Bernhard, and the idea is that you want the listing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're trying to get the listing, and in your effort to get the listing, the house needs some work. And what is it you propose to Ms. Bernhard?
When I come out, I'm going to tell you what it's worth as is, or I can give you some suggestions on how to make your house worth more money.
And what do you suggest to the defendant, to Ms. Bernhard, that she should do in order to maximize her profit?
The biggest thing was cleaning it. There was a lot of stuff there. She hadn't got her daycare items out. So it was kind of hard to see really what you're dealing with. There was moving boxes, and she was really working hard at trying to clear everything out. But I was being honest with her when I told her that houses that are turnkey ready, you know, people will fight over them right now. If they feel like they have to come in and do a lot of work. And we mentioned, you know, sometimes people want to list their house as is. Well, that sometimes makes people feel like they shouldn't see it because there's a lot of major problems. I didn't feel that was the case here. Just thought it really needed a good cleaning and painting. And
so you suggested her what?
She did know that he was still working on the other home. That's how the whole subject came up.
Then who was still working on? Who would?
Michael.
Okay.
Michael was.
Who is your husband? Okay.
And I said, I can have Michael come over and do an estimate for you. And he usually will save my clients a lot of money.
So did you do that?
Usually Michael, yes.
And what was the estimate?
Usually, the estimate was $2,000 because she wanted the crawl space cleared out and power washing. And she really thought that was a little high, not because of the work, I don't think, because of her budget. And, there was communication with the two of them that I didn't know about, but I guess that she told him, I chose you because you're willing to wait to be paid when I get my money.
Is that accurate, Mr. Michael?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And so, Ms. Amanda, at this point, you don't have the listing yet, right?
Correct.
No, I always just work on faith. If they don't like me
What
at the
faith?
end of the,
I mean, if you don't have the listing, you're not going to make any money if it's sold. It's not a matter of faith, it's a matter of contracts. So I guess what you're
17
doing,
years.
in fairness, is that you're the person who's going to hustle and that you are the one who's going to end up selling it. And so she'll pick you to list it with. So that's part of all that's going on here. And I think that's part of what's going on with Mr. Michael also, because he's sitting around working and agreeing to be paid once the house is sold. Right, Mr. Michael?
Yes, ma'am. I work construction, and usually through the winter times, I don't work as many hours. So sometimes I pick up some of this work in the evenings and the weekends when I could.
So
there was
what
never
was the
a
agreement
completion
that
date set.
she would pay? You're suing for $2,000 for the painting and the washing, plus $560 for materials and supplies. So my first question, Ms. Amanda, is were the materials and supplies to be included in the $2,000 or were they to be separate?
in the original discussions with me and Yvonne, and I went over this again myself today, we were going to include the supplies, not the paint. But then I actually found, I don't have the best memory, so I went through it myself, and I did tell her that we would supply the paint. I did tell her that.
So,
I found that this morning.
Right. So why would you sue? I found that last night when I was reading through 300 pages of text. So why would you? So you don't mean then to sue for materials and supplies separately?
Well,
because why do you want to? Go ahead, Michael. Well, besides that, it's more money. Why would you?
Well, this was the problem with the whole thing. I originally talked to her, and then the two of them went back and forth and changed this, and I didn't know anything about some of the stuff in the last 3 days.
Yeah, Michael, that's what's happening. But see, who put you in that position, Ms. Amanda? Hold on one second. I'm talking to Mr. Michael. Who put you in that position, Mr. Michael?
Well, actually,
no, put your hand down, girl. You're not the one who put him in that position. You put you in that position. If you were going to agree to do work, put it in writing, have the scope in writing, and then there's no issues, right? That's how it needs to be done. And then we've got the cleaning, $200 in cleaning. Tell me about that.
And I mean, we could split hairs. There was a time where she agreed to give Mom
hairs.
an extra
I'm trying
50.
to find where the hair is. I'm trying. Go ahead.
I'm trying to help you, honey. I swear. So as far as the
That's
trash,
okay. You know what? It's not offensive though when she calls me honey. It's in a southern accent. It doesn't feel right.
Your Honor, on that, the agreement between her and I was I was to do light spackling, patching nail holes and screws and stuff like that, and do the painting. And what it is, I went over there on a Friday evening and done all the spackling. I come back over and start painting and find where there's been more stuff removed from the walls. I've got to go back and spackle again because there's more holes in the walls.
Well, yeah, of course. If there's still stuff on the walls, then...
This was going on for the entire month I was painting. More stuff kept getting removed from the home and from the walls.
Yeah,
okay, well, how are you painting with stuff on the walls? Why don't you just take them off?
Well, some of the stuff the stuff that I could, like mirrors and stuff like that. Now, some of the mirrors were stuck, and I wasn't about to pry on her mirror and break it.
Right.
So what I could remove from the walls and not paint around, I did.
Ms. Bernhardt, let me hear from you. The place had a lot of junk in it. Who was living there? I shouldn't call it junk. Stuff. Who was living there?
I haven't lived there for 2 months before they started.
Okay, but that stuff was all yours?
Yes, ma'am. I lived there 23 years. All of that was mine.
And then you went to a new place and you didn't take your stuff with you?
It's all in storage, and I moved everything out.
No. When you were trying to list it, I see the pictures when she sees it at the beginning, when you're trying to list it. There are trucks of stuff still there. There's just so much stuff. So you're trying to sell it. You want to list it. You're looking for realtors. You're trying to list it. You want to list it, and you're upset at how long they took to paint it and power wash it and whatever else because you really had wanted it listed right away. But why is the stuff still there? Because that's not conducive to selling it.
It was removed on March 11th. I got a storage unit in a trailer and came down and got
But that's not accurate because I see text between you and her where you're saying, I went and got some more stuff out, went and got some more. The last time I hear you say that is March 31st. So there was a lot of removal during March. And how's he going to finish painting if you keep taking stuff off the wall? Is it true that stuff was still on the wall?
No.
All right, so let's talk about what happens. Ms. Bernhardt, did you think that you wouldn't pay them anything, or what is it you thought was going on?
I was asking her for numbers in the contract and stuff because I know I have to sign a contract, and I wanted specific numbers, like how much is this costing? How much is this costing? How much is this going to be? And she kept saying, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
And you did, because I see that throughout all those month and something of text that you do, Ms. Amanda, just keep saying, "I don't know. I'd have to scroll up and look it up again. Don't worry about that. Let's just make it give it the pizzazz and make it the best it can be." And because she is trying to get the listing. So now I'm left with what? She gets mad and tells you, "You know what? You guys are gone." And why does she say that, Ms. Amanda?
She texted me that morning and said, "You should see this. I am not happy." And I said, "He is not done. He will be over as soon as he gets off of work. I'm on my way now." Because I did not see the finished product downstairs. I was at an open house.
What about the upstairs? Had you seen the finished product upstairs?
Yeah, the one bathroom had bled through. It was like a blood orange. And there was some rooms, a couple of the bedrooms really did need some drywall replaced. But that wasn't part. I mean, who's going to replace drywall?
No, but what about spackling? All right, we've got some videos. Ms. Bernhard, you took some videos of the things you were unpleased with. Let's just see the videos.
Is this the blood orange bedroom?
This is downstairs bathroom. That's the downstairs bathroom, which was not finished yet. It had one coat of paint on it, and it was hot pink.
Downstairs front room. That is me talking. Unreal.
Okay, I see that.
That was. That's upstairs.
Painted right over the spackling.
Okay, so these are a series of pictures showing the lack of spackling.
He wasn't done.
That spackling wasn't done. Okay, well, you may not be done, but it looks like you're done if your paint is over the holes and you haven't spackled the holes.
Is that the front room?
What room is this, Ms. Bernhardt?
I'm not for certain.
Neither am I.
Maybe the back room.
Your Honor, that's where spackling's just got one coat of paint on it. Of course, it absorbs the first coat.
So
that was a living room.
You have pictures of the dirty house. What's dirty about this picture?
It's just the seam of it. You can still see going down the crack that he didn't cover over the other paint.
Well, that's
because
caulking.
the paint.
It's on your. The other paint's on your.
Oh, it's on the tile.
That's all.
Amanda, you guys said you would fix that and caulk
that
around
would be
my
caulking, right? That would not be paint. That's caulking.
Yes.
Was this room painted?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes. This is the downstairs bathroom. This is the last room I was painting the night before they come put the carpet in. That's one coat of paint. And the problem is the walls weren't clean, and it's either got hairspray or something on it, and you can see where the paint kept segregating.
But if the wall's not clean, why are you painting it? Why don't you clean it? Because that's one of the things she's suing for is $200 for cleaning. So somebody was supposed to be in charge of cleaning. Because you're
and it wasn't me, Your Honor.
No, it was your mother-in-law. Go ahead, throw your mother-in-law under the bus. Because it's your mother-in-law was supposed to, right?
Your Honor, even the living room, when I go to paint the living room.
Ma'am, that's my upstairs bathroom, Your Honor.
Now, according to you, the people who are putting in the carpet offered to do the paint repairs or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to you, they're charging you how much?
$1,500 for the painting.
Did he already do the job?
Yes.
So here's where we are. We are in the position where I have to decide what the work that was done is worth. And I have to decide that because you folks have left me, Ms. Amanda and Mr. Michael, in the position of deciphering what the agreements were between you folks. Because not even you folks know the agreement between you folks. Because it was a fluid, flexible effort to get the listing, which never happened. You're vying and vying and vying and trying to get this listing by pouring your blood, sweat, and tears in here. And now you're pulling out and saying, I want $2,760 because we had an agreement to be paid that. But I have to suss it out from these 300 pages of text. And I don't see it the way you see it. I don't see it the way you see it either, Ms. Bernhardt. And so we're left with something that's called, in the eyes of the law, quantum meruit. And that means, how much is it worth? The worth of the work that you do is what you guys agree on, or if you can't agree, what I say it is. And then if the work is a little subpar or a lot subpar, if it's subpar at all, you subtract from that amount the amount it takes to make it right. You see? So that's my analysis. I have now a quote from the other people who repaint. Do you have video of the house or pictures of the house and the repainting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was this room repainted that I'm looking at?
Every room in my house, ma'am. That's the master bedroom that had to be redone.
So here's where we are. I find that the work that was done, had it been done perfectly, is well worth $2,200. I also find that the paint job had to be redone. I do find that, okay? Because I agree with you that it should have been spackled appropriately. We're not debating anymore. It needed to have been spackled appropriately. There are things that weren't done, and I see that. And I see that the paint job was not Michelangelo. You know, it had to be done right. And I get it, and I understand that you had to pay again. So I find that I will deduct from the $2,200 that they were owed $1,200 to redo that. And that means that you owe them for the work that they did, understanding that you had to repaint it, and I agree with you on that. You owe them $1,000 for the job that they did on your house and received no payment for. $1,000. That is my judgment.
So let's see how the litigants feel about the outcome of this very involved case. The plaintiffs are going to get back $1,000, not $2,700. Let's start with Ms. Bernhard. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking I will never list with them and I will have contracts from now on.
Well, if you do that, you've learned a valuable lesson. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it? Nothing more to add?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. This is your chance. That's it. All right. Okay, you owe them $1,000. All right, Michael, Amanda, I know you did a lot of work. This is a pretty involved case, but you're going to get $1,000 for all of your efforts. I think you've learned something out of this case as well, right?
Yeah, you can't put a price on that.
Yep, everything will be in writing from here on out, and there will be no buddy in the middle of the negotiation. It will be between myself and the interested party.
Okay. All right, that'll do it. $1,000, and you're the champion of the case, if you want to put it that way. Harvey, let's get your take on this case. What do you think?
Doug, to button this up, sometimes there isn't an enforceable contract, but when somebody does work, they're entitled to get paid if it benefited the person who the work was done for. And in this case, the judge awarded the reasonable value of the services.
For years, I've heard cops in the movies tell people after questioning them, you can go now, but don't leave town. Can they do that? If you're not arrested, aren't you free to travel like anyone else?
This is something that you do see in the movies and on TV. Maybe you'll see it on Law and Order and things like that, but it's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
The police can't do that. If you're not under arrest and you're free leave, you can go wherever you want.
You can go wherever you want. You can travel. You can do whatever you want.
I think you might have seen it in some of the old Westerns too, where the marshal tells them, "Now don't leave town," right? Or something like that.
Or leave town. I don't want you in my town.
Right.
Like, those are not things that police officers can actually do.
No, and police officers obviously have a lot of powers, and once they get involved in police and citizen encounters, but that's not one of them.
Right. That's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. We'll see you next time.